thank the gentlelady. I will now recognize Mr. Kiley of the great state of California.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to our witnesses for the incredible courage that you've shown in sharing with America the heartbreak and horror that you've endured. Please continue to advocate. Yours are the most powerful voices in trying to prevent other parents and grandparents from experiencing the horror and heartbreak that you have. We will never be able to fully eradicate crime from our communities, but we can reduce those crimes that result from failed politics, from radical ideologies, from insane policies. And the reality is that far too many tragedies of the kind that we've heard about today are preventable if we just had a little more common sense when it comes to public safety. In jurisdictions like this one and far too many places across this country, the sense that crime is just a fact of life has become far too entrenched. That this is just the way it has to be. A sense of political complacency has sunk in, to the point that, according to the latest state of safety survey from the organization SafeWise, half of Americans do not feel safe in their own communities.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. That is right, I've got a new hearing for you guys, and we're talking crime, the victims of crime. There were some very, very powerful opening statements right there, and once again, I might cover some of those if you guys want me to. Let me know down in the comments section. But Kevin Kiley right here, which is a representative from California, makes a damn good speech. I love it, y'all. I really do. So y'all do me that favor, smash that like button for me, subscribe if you're new around here, share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. That would help me tremendously. And you know what would be even better than that? Clicking that join button, signing up and becoming a member. Help me fight the good fight for you guys. So y'all do all that for me. And without any further ado, here is the rest of the story.
And this is more true nowhere else than in my own state of California, where, according to the same survey, 64% of Californians feel a high daily level of concern for their safety, which is the highest of any state in the nation. 72% of Californians say they are highly concerned about violent crime happening to them, also the highest of any state in the country. So this is not just a abstract issue. These are the vast majority of people saying that they've heard about the sort of horrors that we've heard about today, and they fear that it could happen to them or to someone they love. This sense of lawlessness is seen in the ordinary conditions of life for people as well. In Los Angeles, the police chief has advised people, do not wear your jewelry when you go outside. People have to walk through homeless encampments on their way to work with all manner of drug use and other unlawful activity. You walk into a CVS or a basic store and your shampoo and conditioner is under lock and key because theft is so rampant. We see that in Washington, D.C. as well. You probably see it here in Charlotte. So these, and in fact, in my own state of California, we just had an incident 2 weeks ago where, in apparently an act of politically motivated violence, an individual fired 3 shots into a local news organization, and he was at large for some time, and then we all breathed a sigh of relief when he was apprehended. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The shots didn't hit anyone. But then he was immediately released. A man who just fired 3 shots into a news studio. Fortunately, there was a federal nexus. The FBI apprehended him soon after that. But this is the core of the problem. It's criminology 101, that the best deterrent against crime is the certainty of punishment. And the way that many of these jurisdictions are set up is there's various dimensions to the criminal justice system that undermine the certainty of punishment. So if you're a criminal committing even a very serious crime, you probably think there's not a very good chance you're going to get caught because the police departments are understaffed and they've been defunded. But then even if you do get caught, there's a good chance you won't be prosecuted because you have these rogue district attorneys who don't prosecute crime. But then even if you do get prosecuted, there's a pretty good chance you'll be let out on pretrial release, on bail, or even maybe on unsupervised release without bail. Or then even if you are convicted, then the punishments are so weak that it really won't be much of a punishment at all. The good news is public opinion has turned sharply against these sort of radical policies that have gotten to this point. Even in California last year, Californians passed a proposition to make crime illegal again by restoring appropriate consequences that passed with almost 70% of the vote, despite opposition from the governor and the political establishment. We also saw some of these reckless district attorneys in our state removed from office. And because of that, we've actually seen a modest improvement in crime that is starting to be felt in our state. So, Mr. Chair, I think this is precisely the time when we can say, and we're seeing it in Washington, D.C., by the way, where we have a controlled experiment going on, where you can at least turn a couple of the levers to increase the certainty of punishment, and what do you know? Crime goes down. I think that we need to use that as an example for how we can bring public safety to communities across this country. And I think that starts, by the way, first and foremost, with supporting our law enforcement. So thank you to all the law enforcement with us here today. I yield back.
Okay, so he didn't mention this, but I'm going to mention this. That very guy he was discussing right there, the guy that shot up the local news station. Yeah, we all know what that's about, but in case you don't know, that was the guy. You guys remember when Jimmy Kimmel was suspended and how the left just lost their freaking minds? They just jumped up and started shouting, gnashing their teeth about free speech all of a sudden, right? After 4 years of censoring your opponents, censoring your opponents, censoring your opponents. Oh, this is hate speech, hate speech, hate speech, hate speech. Oh, sit down and shut up, sit down and shut up. Your silence is violence. You better stand up and fight with us. After all of that, they want to stand up and say, freedom of speech. Oh, it was just speech. They shut down Jimmy Kimmel, some whack job, some nut job who, honestly, we can't even tell anymore if these are just regular liberals, regular old Democrats, or they're from an insane asylum, for crying out loud, because this person shoots up an ABC affiliate local station. They let him go. They arrested him. Hang on just a second. Oh, well, you just shot up a building. Nobody was hurt. Let's go ahead and just release you back out into the streets to go commit a crime again. Good thing that the FBI is doing their damn job and went and nabbed this guy, took him back off of the streets and put him back behind bars where these people belonged. Folks, it is absolutely insane, the crime in this country. Right? I heard somebody in one of their opening statements to this very hearing right here that he was talking about people going to prison. And he was like, don't these people get reformed? Like, talking about going and, reforming themselves while they're in prison. And I'm just sitting here shaking my head. I'm like, no, that's not what the intent of prison is supposed to be. The intent of prison is a punishment. Why have we gotten away from this? Why do we, treat these criminals with baby gloves and treat them like they're children, treat them like, oh, they've got all these problems and, oh, they got this sob story and blah, 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 blah. There's people out there every single day that struggle, that go through the exact same struggles as a lot of these criminals, but you don't see these people going out robbing liquor stores or robbing banks or, home invading somebody and taking people out of the game, to say it nicely, right? We don't see this from a lot of people. And we all have problems, folks. I have my problems. I'm sure you have your problems, that we could all blame society for something, but hang on just a second. We all have brains. We all make choices, and we all take actions based upon those choices. And, it's my personal belief that, you are ultimately responsible for your actions. Doesn't matter. It could come down to something as simple as you decide, hey, I want me a grape slushie from Sonic, right? And you're like, yeah, you get in your car and you take off and you go down the street. You pull up to a stop sign and somebody runs a stop sign and rams right into you. You were just sitting at the stop sign. You didn't do anything wrong. Technically, you didn't break any laws, but hang on just a second. You're still slightly culpable for that, because you decided to get in your vehicle and chose to be where you were at that point in time. That's how I view my life. Everything I do. All right? If I decide to get up and go do something, if somebody throws something at me, I'm like, what the hell is their problem, right off the top? And I'm like, what did I do? Did I look at them wrong or something? I always reflect within myself and say, hang on just a second. Did I do something wrong to piss this person off? We've gotten away from that, folks. All these criminals, they always try to blame society. They'll blame this, they'll blame that. Oh, I had daddy issues, I had mommy issues, blah, 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 blah. I was fired from my job. You name it, folks. They try to blame anything and everything. And we've gotten away from the punishment must fit the crime. These soft on crime policies don't work. This cashless bail nonsense doesn't work. I would say to anybody and everybody that I think it would be a very good common sense idea that anybody that's arrested for a violent crime, they must sit in jail, right? They let murderers, for crying out loud, out on bond. How insane is that? Even if it's a crime of passion or whatever, right? Somebody who would never do this, right? We hear that all the time. Oh, that person would never do this. You can never underestimate anybody, folks, at any time for any reason. Do not ever underestimate people. I learned that at a very, very young age. Very young age. Do not underestimate people. Do not, absolutely. But, the crime of passion, oh, it's not his fault, blah, 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 blah. No, folks, we need to get back to punishing criminals. I'm sorry. These people must fear for their life to commit a crime, right? Punishments need to go up. We need to have much, much more strict punishments. That's what I say, at least for violent crime, right? Now, you want to take regular old, like, theft or something like that? Look, it is what it is. Some people, they do get out there and they're just broke and hungry and they go steal a loaf of bread. But you know what? We see a lot of the time that these people, they're not broke. They just steal just for the hell of it, folks. Just for the hell of it. If you have prior records, I mean, think about it like this. I think, California had a really good idea a few decades ago. They've gotten rid of it, but it was a good idea. 3 strikes and you're out. 3 strikes and you're out. You get 3 felonies. Or I forget the exact details, but I think it was 3 felonies. It may have been violent crimes. I don't remember exactly, but you get 3 different situations, right? And you're going to jail for a long time, essentially. I think we need to bring that back. Absolutely. Get rid of the death penalty, in my opinion. I don't think the government has the right or the moral supremacy to dole out a punishment of that nature, folks. Yeah, I don't think so, right? In my opinion, this is just my personal opinion, the only person that has the moral supremacy to dole out a punishment such as death is the person that was victimized by that person, right? Like, in other words, they can't, essentially. They're no longer with us, right? If somebody murders somebody else, the only person that can justifiably get justice, essentially, would be the victim of that murder, but they can't do it anymore. This is why the government does it, but I still don't think that the government has the right to do that because our criminal justice system is not flawless, folks. It's absolutely not flawless. It has its issues. We've convicted and sentenced to death people that were completely innocent before. That's horrifying. That is absolutely horrifying, if you ask me. An innocent person can go to jail and be put to death and they did nothing wrong, or at least they didn't commit the crime that they were accused of committing. That's horrifying, if you ask me. But it's just a crazy situation, right? It really is what's going on in this country. You have soft on crime policies. I don't understand that. And these are predominantly Democrats, folks. Predominantly Democrats. Had one Democrat in that hearing that I skipped over because it was kind of a boring, but they said, oh, well, the Republicans say that Democrats are soft on crime. That's not true. Is that so? Like, go look at some of the blue cities, for crying out loud. The top 19 highest crime cities, of the top 19 of 20 of the highest crime cities in this country, are ran by Democrats. And guess where that one Republican ran is? It's actually in 20th place. That's fascinating, don't you think? How come all the highest crime cities in this country are all ran by Democrats? And you mean to tell me y'all are not soft on crime? You're not? Like, have you looked at some of your policies? Cashless bail was all the rave several years ago, and it's an utter failure. It has failed outright. There's no argument. That is a failed policy. It does not help with crime. These criminals can't be treated with kid gloves. Basically, what I'm saying is, let's make prison punishment again. Right? I mean, who agrees with me on this? I imagine you guys agree, right? So, I've rambled on for long enough. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section. Y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. Click that join button. Sign up and become a member. Like I said, y'all, help me fight the good fight and push back against the narrative. And y'all make sure and check out my regular news videos where we go over the corporate press and we cover news and politics, and we kind of figure out how we're being manipulated, because folks, we're being heavily manipulated by the mainstream news. So y'all do all that for me. Check it out. And you guys remember that God has a plan for everybody, and he loves each and every one of you out there. So y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.